So full time at Twickenham, and England have beaten Ireland by 24 points to 12. Andy Dunne was watching this one alongside me at Twickenham, and Andy, it's tough to even know where to start really. A very, very disappointing afternoon for Ireland. And after the first two games we had, the gritty win against Scotland, the excellent performance against Wales, this is all of a sudden Andy Farrelly brought back down to earth.
Yeah, it's a bit of a cold slap in the face for Farrell, the management, for the leadership group, most notably I think Sexton as captain as well. But yeah, I mean, there are pillars to every international performance that are, I suppose, baseline requirements. Your physicality up front, you're ideally trying to restrict unforced errors, and in both of those elements of our game we failed abjectly in that first 20-30 minute period.
Yeah, and I suppose ultimately Ireland were probably outplayed for most of the opening half, but it was two just completely basic errors, two simple errors, one from Johnny Sexton and then another from Jacob Stockdale, that actually gave England 14 of their 17-point leads in the 17-point lead in the opening half. Yeah,
they didn't have to break us down or construct either try with any difficulty. Both kicks were quite speculative. There was cover in defence. My main concern around Sexton's mistake was his reaction to that mistake for the ensuing 10 to 15 minute period. As Irish captain and as an experienced 10, he needs to learn to react better, even at this stage of his career. He didn't lose.
Did he look like he was carrying a knock? Because there were those two kicks. Granted, it happened after the mistake leading up to the try, but Ireland had a penalty straight afterwards. It was straight in front of the post and just pulled it to the left, and it was a similar strike for Robbie Henshaw's conversion early in the second half. Did he look like he was fully fit out there?
I really don't think there was an issue in terms of physical fitness. I think it's easy sat up in the stands and being critical, but pressure can do this to anyone, to any player, and I think the captaincy on top arguably did that. He probably felt he'd let everybody down. When he fumbled that ball in our own dead ball area, the reaction seemed to affect him in terms of technical execution more than anything else. He remained talkative with the team. He remained positive in his body language with the team, and he spoke to the referee, but his own technical execution deserted him for the next 10 to 15 minute period, including some important kicks. My other concern was Stockdale's rather lackadaisical or absent-minded attempt in the in-goal area. It's an area where it goes without saying we need intensity, we need attention to detail, and he lacked both of those things in a crucial period for the Irish team in the game. That was a very disappointing mistake for different reasons than Sexton's non-technical, more mental or concentration type mistake. Again, avoidance of simple errors and the physicality up front, that compounded to give England a easy couple of points in that first half. However, we were looking like we creaked physically against them also.
Is it a worry potentially that, given how Ireland started the second half very, very well, they got their try, is it actually a bit of a worry when you consider just how easily England stepped up a gear and just kind of patted Ireland off straight after that?
I think context can be tricky. I think Ireland had to work hugely for their scores. For any yardage that they made, they had to work hugely. There was potentially a little bit of tiredness crept in as a result of regaining some momentum in the match, and then England were able to shift gears. The English try that brought them to 24 points came from an Irish scrum on our own line, and there is a concern around our strength and depth at tight head. Andrew Porter, to his credit, is an excellent prop, an excellent loose head prop for sure, and an excellent ball carrier around the field, and he showed great resilience to score our try in injury time as well, and a great mental toughness to come back from a scrum where he was overpowered by Ellis Genge. But nonetheless, these lean towards areas of weakness in the Irish squad that we do need to address in the immediate term and also in the medium to longer term.
Spare a thought for anyone watching this for Ross Byrne, who's just down on the pitch in front of us there. Ross Byrne, he only got maybe about less than 10 minutes towards the end of the game, and he's been left with the dreaded fate of the player who hasn't got to play too much of the match. He's out doing the fitness now. As you were talking away, I was watching, he was running across the pitch. Now he's running up and down towards the halfway line. He's been put through his paces. It's obviously a very difficult place for him to be at the moment, I would say, considering how his last visit to Twickenham was in the summer as well, in that game that probably was the one that cost him his place at a World Cup if he was battling with Jack Carty. But is he someone who deserves to get a proper look in now against Italy? And if not him, who else do you think should be getting a run out?
Yeah, I think there's very little to be gained by fielding a full strength or the established senior members against Italy. If we can't beat Italy, the current Italy side, even with our fringe squad members, we ought to win that game. And I think the selection needs to be daring, it needs to be bold. I would plump for 10 to 12 changes. I would certainly give the likes of Ross Byrne a try. John Cooney needs to start. But I'd like to see some bold decisions and a tip of the hat to the lesser known or lesser played members of the squad, that we do trust you to go into a crucial Six Nations game. All Six Nations games are considered crucial year in, year out. But what would we gain by picking the same squad, the established starters, and just in order to get a win and keep building momentum for what? We've to build some strength and depth. England are doing it. France are clearly doing it. I think we should follow suit.
Well, we finish on a positive. Was there a positive? What are we going to take from today? What can the players and management take from this afternoon's performance and game that they can build on? Is there anything? Is there a positive today?
Yeah, I think there were positives. I still think some individuals did their jobs reasonably well. Andrew Conway again had good periods. Peter O'Mahony was effective at the breakdown on a couple of steals. We had a nice 20-minute period for Caelan Doris and an introduction into the Irish setup like that. And then, as I mentioned, we had, I suppose, insight into the mental toughness of the likes of a young Andrew Porter, who creaked in a scrum which cost us a try, but was central to our return back up the field, and 10 minutes later he'd scored for himself. So I think if we can identify that there's a lot of strength in terms of the mentality of individuals within the group, there's resilience there, and there's a new coaching setup that needs time to get their ideas across to the group, and there's chances to, particularly in the Italy game, and given that the Grand Slam and the Championship looks gone at this stage, there's scope and opportunity to grow the squad and grow the depth of the squad. So there are positives for sure, but ultimately a disappointing day.
All right, we'll leave it there. More analysis to come, and we'll also hear from Andy Farrell and some of the players as well a little bit later on. So stay tuned on offtheball.com. But from here in Twickenham, where Ireland have been beaten by 24 points to 12.